So, oh, it's actually that stops. That's an every 15-minute clock, right?
Yeah, man. You know one thing. Every time somebody come here, can you cut that thing down? Now my wife know how to do that. Now.
Okay. So, LS was a hustler.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard stories of him staying up late at night, delivering milk, going across the to West Virginia line, delivering moonshine.
That's
and
right.
Everything. You know, I got the whole story, right?
That's right.
So, and he lived to be 104 years old, right?
Yeah.
So, um, you were able to get 104 years old, 104 years worth of wisdom in your life. Right?
Yeah.
Can you give me some of the candid talks that you and your father had based on race and based on living in the South and the experiences he had back in North Carolina? Can you kind of discuss some of those things from his point of view to you as a young African American male?
Well, this white man was on a horse, and his stepfather was on a horse-drawn wagon, and he cursed at his stepfather. And my father pulled a pistol out and shot at him. Well, the next day, my daddy had to walk the railroad track and hoboed the train, and it came to Roanoke. That's how we got to Roanoke. And my mother was pregnant with my oldest brother. And he wrote a letter and sent for her. And he wrote to his brother in North Carolina. And his brother advised him to come back. And he had to go to jail for I don't know how long. But it's a wonder if they didn't kill him because he was almost white himself. So that's the only reason why they didn't kill him. But he always told me to do the right thing and treat people right. There's a picture of them that the Roanoke World News printed of them about treating people right and doing the right thing. And he always taught me that, and all of us, rather, there was 9 of us, especially when we were in the woods hunting. We would sit on a log, and he taught me about being a provider. And I knew how to raise a garden. And what made me feel good, I raised cattle. I raised a big garden for my old mother and father, she was 98 and he was 101, and she was cooking for him in the old house out there on 220 South. And I was bringing vegetables into the house from the garden, and I killed a beef. They had plenty of steak and pork and a hamburger. When I had all of this processed meat for them, from killing a beef and feeding them the right grain and not all of these steroids that they feeding these animals today, that's what's killing people.
So, a couple more questions. We know anyone that's in tune with history, we understand the sacrifices and the things that African Americans had to go through, starting with slavery, right? What is it that you believe within us as African Americans has allowed us to be resilient to this point today? Even through all the other stuff that's going on with the racism that's happening in the country now, we still seem to shine through it, regardless of what has happened to us, right? So what is it that you feel allows us to be resilient as we are as blacks?
hard nosed. It's in your genes, it's in your blood. Just hard nosed. That's the only way I can describe that. Just it's in your genes, it's in your makeup. The average person can't take that. Look at what we got now for a president. This is a mess for a president. It's in as I've ever seen. Unbelievable. It's in your genes at what is taking place. So that's the only way I can describe that.
So when we're talking about the American South, obviously you have ties all throughout it. You here in Virginia, Mount Gilead, the DeBerrys, you know. What does the American South mean to you? If you had to put it in terms, and someone from New York or Massachusetts came and says, hey, you're from the South, what does that mean? So what does the American South mean to Larry LeGrande?
The American South means that if you can, stay in the South. That's where it started. Don't run. As much of your South as it is the white man. Our forefathers, like I said, built this country. And stay here and fight it out. Stand up what's rightfully yours. That's what that means.
That's pretty deep.
Yeah.
Because you do find where a lot of individuals, they jet out.
Head for New York, Chicago, especially people from Mississippi. 85% of the people in Mississippi go to Chicago. Virginia, New York, North Carolina, New York. You know how I know? When I was playing, they tell me I'm from Mississippi. You guys just played down there because my brother told me. See, we hear everything. We're traveling around the United States.
While doing that traveling, did you all have the Green Book that lets you know which hotels you can stay in, which barber shops you can go to, and all those things?
No. That's a good question. That's funny. We had a Green Book, all right. You can't stay here, we filled up. And they lying and telling a big lie. Some check us in, and soon as we get there, that question you asked me about those women, we got to go. We got to go. Signing autographs. What room you in? You got to go. Sometimes our bus driver, he would tell us, don't take all of your luggage off. We don't know whether they're going to let us stay here or not. That's why I said these modern day baseball players, Don Newcomb, the great pitcher who pitched for the New York Eagles, he said, you know one thing, they wouldn't last 10 minutes. If they had to play in the Negro Leagues. Wouldn't last 10 minutes.
I read something where you all played, y'all played over 200 games.
Yeah.
Like, back to back.
Let me tell you about that. We played at 11 o'clock at Griffith Stadium, home of the Washington Senators, at 11 o'clock on a Sunday morning. At 2:30, a quarter to 3, we were in Baltimore. And at 8 o'clock that night, we were in Philadelphia. We played a triple header on Sunday. All of the Negro League teams did that. Hank Aaron spoke of that. All of us did. We had 32,000 people in the ballpark in Washington, D.C., and we got paid for 16,000. They took our money. Crooked booking agents. The owner, Ted Raspberry, sent them tickets to sell. They hand them so many tickets back, the promoter sold, the booking agent sold his own tickets. Promoters.
Even today, as far as memorabilia in stores and things like that, you all still aren't getting your fair share of the Lions catch, right?
What should be in all of the stores, all of the sporting goods stores rather, should be Negro Leagues memorabilia, and all of the players should get a check every month. And that's what I do. Shirts and caps and jerseys. And baseball cards. I got my own cards.
Right. You had the opportunity with other Negro League baseball players to be honored by President Obama.
That was great.
And you had the opportunity to go up there.
Yes.
Tell us about that experience and how you were chosen.
Well, it was his birthday. And this lady called me and asked me to come up there. Yeah, with President Bush. And she just picked certain names to meet up there. And when he walked out, he said, "You took me by surprise." We started singing to him, "Happy birthday." He said, "I'd like to thank you for coming." He said, "You're responsible for me being the first African American president. Players like Jackie Robinson and Satchel Paige and Monty Irvin and Larry Doby, he all named a few, right? When they found out I was Satchel Paige's last catch, I couldn't get away from it. He thought, I'm going to show you that picture. He talked to me about how hard could he throw. I said he could throw 80. Old as he was, he could throw 80 and strike out. Like I said, he stayed out of harder plate. He hit the cones. He always told me, he said, "I don't know if you're catching or playing right field. Remember, I don't pitch inside." I never let, he mentioned a bad name that I don't care to say. He said, "I never let anybody pull me out of the ballpark. They're going to have to take me the other way. Hit him to the opposite field." But we had a good talk with him, and he was so happy to see us, and so was President Bush. Yeah.
Is that something that will definitely stand out as one of the most memorable moments in your life, meeting the very first African American president?
Sure. And meeting President Bush. Some people never meet a live president.
It's true.
I met two.
Did you ever think that with this country's not so pretty past that you would have ever seen an African American president in the White House?
That's right. Never did.
You never thought that you would see one?
I never did. I never did. I know when Reverend Jesse Jackson, I knew that he didn't quite have that.